from our nation's capital and Washington, D.C. Tonight, the Pittsburgh Pirates take on the Washington Nationals as we begin, unofficially, the second half of the 2016 season. President William Howard Taft is here, along with the rest of the presidents. We'll see that president's race a little bit later on, but let's check out the National League Central Division race and the Volkswagen standings. The Cubs were winners over Texas earlier today, so right now they lead the Cardinals by 7.5 games in the Central. The Bucks are 8 off the pace. As we begin the second half, Greg Brown, Bob Walk, Robbie Ince-Mikowski with you. And Bob, tonight we'll see Francisco Liriano on the mound for the Pirates. The big key is going to be the rotation. Tomorrow we'll see Garrett Cole come off the disabled list. Chad Kuhl will make the start on Sunday. But it all begins tonight with Francisco Liriano.
I agree 100% there. If you want to get closer to those Cubs and really start chipping away at that and getting back up there in the pennant race, not just talking about a wild card, but trying to get up there to the division race, then you're going to have better pitching from the starting rotation. And not only just getting the ERAs down, but they got to go deeper in the ball games. That might even be the most important thing. They got to start pitching deeper in the game, 6-7 innings every single game. That's what we're looking for out of these starters.
John Neese has been sent to the bullpen for the time being. We'll talk about that as we go on tonight. It is a Friday night. That means it's time to rock. Friday Night Rocks coming your way from Washington, D.C. as the Pirates take on the Nationals. We get ready to go. Baseball returns after the All-Star break. The Pirates and the Nats are coming up next.
Walking across that bridge tonight, time is growing near. PNC on a Friday night, the family down here. Here we go on Friday, let's get it done on a Friday night. Pittsburgh on Friday, it's what we do.
Stand up and ring your bell! Oh my word!
Oh yeah!
And there it goes!
What a call, Joe.
Oh Lord!
His Friday night is rocking.
Here we go on Friday. Let's get it done on Friday night. Pittsburgh on Friday. It's what we do, Lord. Yeah.
And back in D.C., a beautiful night for baseball. Pirates and Nats. First visit to D.C. It's the first meeting between these two clubs. Check out the RAV4 starting lineup for the Bucks. Josh Harrison, David Freese, Andrew McCutchen, 1-2-3. Andrew McCutchen, a career .349 average. Starling Marte, Matt Joyce, Jung Ho Gong follow. Then Jordy Mercer, Eric Fryer, and Francisco Liriano, the Pirates starting 9 against Steven Strasburg. Josh Harrison will be leading things off. All but Jay Hay and Mark Melanson had the full All-Star break. Steven Strasburg was in San Diego. That's where he's from. He was an All-Star, but he elected not to pitch in that game so that he could concentrate on this game. And look at those numbers.
Yeah, they're outstanding numbers. Obviously, he is in the middle of one of the best seasons anybody has seen. He's unbeaten at this point with a dozen wins. He's perhaps got a Cy Young Award in his future. Yeah, Pirates really, Greg, went through a stretch where they were seeing the cream of the crop. It's continuing.
Welcome back. Second half, right? Steven Strasburg, 12-0. Johnny Cueto, 13 wins. And a bouncer to the shortstop, Espinosa. 1 up and 1 down. So Strasburg retires Harrison to begin this ball game. And we check out the Honda defense. Trey Turner is at second base. Daniel Murphy does not start. He was in the original lineup, not tonight. Danny Espinosa is his double play partner. Anthony Rendon, Clint Robinson on the corners. Jason Worth, Michael A. Taylor, Bryce Harper in the outfield, and behind the plate, an all-star Wilson Ramos. David Freese at the plate for the Bucks. .291 the first half of the season. Outstanding numbers for David Freese. And he starts at first base. The lineup had not been posted before the media met with Clint Hurdle, so we weren't able to ask the skipper what went into this. No John Jaso at first base against the right-handed pitcher. And it's 3-0.
A little bit of a head scratcher.
Yep. Josh Bell is, as we had said last weekend, is with the club at least for tonight. There you see Gregory Polanco in front of him. Polanco not in the lineup, and still a chance he could wind up on the disabled list, and Bell would be here for a while. So a lot of moving parts here. Good to rest for those 4 days as John Jaso rests tonight. But the second half will bring, as Clint Hurdle said, some challenges, and David Freese draws the one-out walk. Umpires, Ron Kolpa behind the plate. Chris Conroy's at first. Jerry Meals is the crew chief at second, with Paul Nart at third. There's Jerry Meals, the crew chief. Steven Strasburg walks Freese with 1 out, and Andrew McCutchen, who ended that series at PNC Park looking like the old McCutchen. He's homered now in back-to-back games. Last 3 ball games, 6 out of 12.
Good July numbers. Hopefully going to be the old McCutchen for the second half. Not that the offense hasn't done well this year, but boy, he could really make it something if he gets back to where he normally is.
And after the All-Star break, you look at some players in the National League going back from 2012 through last year. These are the better numbers. Andrew McCutchen, second behind Buster Posey. 1 ball, 1 strike. And it's 1-2. Strasburg has punched out 132. That's 5th in the league.
It's a slider. He's added this to the repertoire this year. And even though that one was belt high, middle of the plate, still got by the bat, had some character to it.
McCutchen 2 for 13 in his career against Strasburg. That's a 154 batting average. Of course, you know Strasburg made his big league debut against the Bucks right here in this ballpark just over 6 years ago, June 8, 2010. What a night it was. One of the all-time great nights in Washington Nationals franchise history. Of course, these are the Expos that moved here to D.C. in 2005. And Dusty Baker, the veteran skipper, this is his first year as manager of the Nats. Matt Williams was let go after last season. 1-2 on McCutchen. Still a ball and 2 strikes on the Pirates center fielder. Love to see him continue what he ended up doing the last series at PNC Park. One ball, 2 strikes. Double play ball. And they turn it. Inning-ending double play. Espinosa to Turner to Robinson. Half inning. Pirates nothing. The Nats coming to bat. First of 3 with the Nats. Check out Dusty Baker's lineup. It's Trey Turner leading things off. Turner 3 out of 7 since coming up to the big leagues this season. Michael A. Taylor, Jason Worth follow. Bryce Harper's the cleanup man with Anthony Rendon at 3rd. Wilson Ramos 3rd in the league in hitting. Is behind the plate Danny Espinosa, the Swiss hitting shortstop Clint Robinson, and Steven Strasburg. Again, Daniel Murphy not in the starting lineup, and that is, I have to tell you what a big bat that is. 348 batting average to lead the league, 2nd in RBIs. His first year with Washington. So Trey Turner leads things off against Francisco Liriano.
Take a look at the Hyundai numbers brought to you by Hyundai. Makes sense, doesn't it, Greg?
Yeah.
Walks definitely high. That's the key, I think. Try and get Liriano a little bit more into the strike zone, and especially with the strike, with the fastball. I think that's the big key.
Look out. Off-speed pitch, and Turner completely fooled.
Got 2 change-ups in a row that he's got chases on. whiffs on, I should say. This one right at the very bottom of the strike zone. Maybe a little bit low.
The bat sails toward the netting, which extends toward each dugout here at Nats Park. 1 ball, 2 strike on Trey Turner. Hit .302 at Syracuse this year and just lays off. But yeah, for Liriano, you want to see a bunch of strikes starting tonight. You want to see some swings and misses. You want to see the Liriano of old. And toward right center. 1 away. Matt Joyce in right makes the catch. We're going to get to our Rivers Casino tips to win.
The commander-in-chief for the fastball. I want him to be able to throw a lot of strikes with that fastball. His last start, he threw way more fastballs for balls outside the strike zone than he did for strikes. You can't really do that. You need to move that around and cuts. You know, we talked about how well he played that last homestand. He's always ripped the cover off the ball in this ballpark. So sometimes he speaks softly when I'm carrying a big stick here.
In case you missed it, the presidential theme to Bob's tips to win.
A little something going on here in the District of Columbia.
Steve Blass will have his work cut out for him tomorrow night.
We'll see the president's race here later on.
Yep.
Who was that we saw earlier? Was that Garfield?
I think that was Taft, wasn't it?
Oh, Taft. That's right.
We're anxious to check that out. I don't know what the standings are. I know for years we came here and Teddy Roosevelt never won, but I think he has made a great comeback.
Well, they have changed a few of them.
Speaking about carry a big stick.
Yeah.
Right? Teddy. Here's Jason Worth. 10 homers, 40 RBIs for the veteran. And there's that strike one that seems so important.
And I think it's more important, Greg, they does it with fastballs as he did there. That's going to make the hitters, you know, have to try and make their minds up a little sooner. You start establishing the fastball. We've talked about it a lot with Locke over the years, about establishing that fastball to make his changeup that much better, get some chases on it. But the same thing applies to Liriano.
Good pitch there.
Yeah, that looked like a slider, I think.
Here's Jeff Locke. He will pitch Tuesday night at home against Milwaukee, but that's as far as the Pirates would announce. Now, hints that Jamison Tyone, who's seated next to him, will be ready to go. There's a fly ball to left. Marte back toward the wall, and the Pirate All-Star right by the bullpen makes the catch. It's a 1-2-3, bottom of the first, and it's 0-0.
On Root Sports is brought to you by Allegheny Health Network. Health for all. By Bordas and Bordas, official legal partners of the Pittsburgh Pirates. Visit BordasLaw.com. And by Day Automotive. We're going to make your day. Let's go Bucks!
0-0 second inning, and Starling Marte leads things off. Marte had one pinch hit appearance on Tuesday night in San Diego and singled. As the Nats of the National League tried to stage a comeback. And he pops this up towards shallow left. And Jason Worth in the left center will take it in front of Michael Taylor. Marte hitting .316 as play began today, 8th in the league, is retired. Steven Strasburg looking for his 13th win. He'll turn 28 years old next Wednesday. The #1 overall pick in 2009 out of San Diego State. 2-2 and 5 career starts against the Bucks. This is the first time he has faced the Pirates since May of 2014. Earlier this season signed a new 7-year contract, staying in DC for a long time. That's the plan anyway. And Matt Joyce pops it up to right. That's Harper for the second out. Fly to left, a fly to right, and Strasburg quickly retires the first 2 Pirates. Barrel league leaders this season, National League ranks. Tied for second in wins, 9th in ERA, 6th opponent's batting average against. You see the strikeouts per 9 innings.
Look at the run support.
Yeah.
The Nationals, they take advantage of all those good numbers. That's why he has a dozen wins in his personal win column.
Jung Ho Kang takes a strike. Strasburg's last start a week ago against the Mets, 7 innings, 1 run, 2 hits. As the Nats took that series, and they begin the second half 6 up on the Mets and the Marlins in the National League East.
The surprising Marlins. Didn't see that coming. Knew the Mets were going to be there. And all you got to do is look at the starting pitching for the Nationals. You know they're going to be there.
Were you with us in Miami?
No.
Oh, well, I think you might have had a different opinion.
They look pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm kind of thinking more toward when the season was
No, I know, but even as before Pirates went to play the Marlins, you really didn't know what they had. And then
it was about the 3rd week of April. I
Yeah.
saw the Marlins.
Oh yeah, you did. Yeah. Well, Strasburg takes care of Jung Ho Kang. It's his first strikeout. 1, 2, 3 go the Bucks. It's 0-0. Sports is next Friday. Bucks Phillies at PNC Park. Tune in. Help us raise money for Pirates charities and several local organizations that strive to improve the lives of children in our community. Purchase VIP backpacks packed with Pirates memorabilia. Pirates Charities Night on Root Sports next Friday starting at 6. It's 0-0 going to the bottom of the second. It's Bryce Harper leading off for Washington. Bryce Harper started out with just unbelievable numbers the first couple months of the season. Has dropped off considerably, but still among the league leaders in many categories, including disappointing looks after umpires call strikes on him, like Ron Kolpa just did on that pitch. Coming off a unanimous MVP season last year. 42 homers, 99 ribbies.
One of the reasons why his numbers now just look kind of like, hey, all right. His OPS is close to 900, so he's still doing decent.
Yeah, well over 1,000 last year, that MVP season. And he takes a pitch up and in. One year ago at this time, you see his numbers. Checks and takes. Has gotten it to 3-2. He leads the league, having walked 70 times. He's 5th in on-base percentage. Hit hard, but at the second baseman, knocked down by Harrison. Harper is retired. Hard hit, but right at Jay, playing out in shallow right. So Liriano has retired the first 4. 2 fly balls, 2 ground balls, and he faces Anthony Rendon. This is his 5th career start against the Nats. 2-2, a 3.70 ERA. For Liriano. And Rendon 3 for 7 in his career against him. See the numbers for the Nationals' third baseman, this former first-round pick out of Rice. Back in 2011, injury-plagued career. And again, out in front, there's a fastball that's fouled off, 0-2. Ray Searage continues to work hard. Get these Bucco starters back on track.
Gotta get more innings.
Yep. That is an absolute must.
Well, so far, so good with the control. 18 pitches, 12 of them have been for strikes. That one just missing a little bit.
95 miles an hour inside to Rendon. Get a big boost tomorrow, and Garrett Cole is expected to come off the disabled list and make the start. Been out since early June. Who knows what impact that had he not gone on the DL, had he gone on for just the expected, maybe missing 1 or 2 starts like was anticipated initially. Maybe that settles down the rotation, but it was not to be. He stayed on the DL. Made 2 really solid rehab starts in the minors. There's a pop up to right. Joyce started back, now comes in, plenty of time to make the catch. And it's 2 up and 2 down. And we remind you the Bucks back home next Tuesday. That homestand includes a Thursday night fireworks night against the Brewers at 7:05. Spectacular Zabelli fireworks show will follow the 7:05 game against Milwaukee. Get your tickets at pirates.com. Hope to see you on hand next week. Pirates and the Brewers begin that series on Tuesday. 3-game series, and the Phillies in for the first and only time for a weekend series, and then the Seattle Mariners for 2 interleague games.
Greg really loved the way Liriano is continuing to go after the strike zone. Another fastball for strike 1. Liking what we're seeing so far. It sets up pitches like that, gets those chases now on the changeup. That's the kind of swing you get when that hitter has to be aware of the fastball. He doesn't want to get jammed. He starts to bat a little early, and then it's a changeup outside off the plate, and you get that kind of off balance, silly looking swing.
Wilson Ramos is the 9th toughest batter in the league to strike out. And he strikes out looking. It's early, but Liriano's looking good. 0-0 through 2.
No score after 2 innings at Nationals Park as we get a look at the fan keeping the players cool here at Nationals Park. I'm Robbie Mikowski. Well, with temperatures expected in the mid-90s each of the 3 games this weekend, it's going to be tough to keep these guys on the field, and that's a challenge for Todd Tomczyk, the head athletic trainer, and the entire staff. And I asked him about the plan, specifically the hydration plan to keeping everybody on the field. And the very first thing that came out of his mouth was that if you've started your preparations this morning, it's already too late. This is something that has been in plan for about a week. Now, the whole performance team, the Pirates have a pretty large performance team. They look at the temperature a week out, especially for a guy like Francisco Liriano. Now, each guy has an individual plan for hydration based on their activity and how much they sweat, and it began 4 to 5 days ago to be real specific about this series. Now, you might see Liriano change jerseys tonight as we get a ground ball to second base off the bat of Jordy Mercer for the out. Eric Fryer may go through a couple jerseys as well, knowing just how hot it is here in Washington, D.C. this weekend, Greg and Bob. So this is something well planned out and well thought out to battle these very hot temperatures.
Well, they really are. I mean, kind of expect that when you come to D.C. this time of year. So the Pirates should be prepared, as Robbie said. And speaking of Eric Fryer, wearing his first jersey of the night.
I started hydrating 2 nights ago, thinking it's going to be warm here in D.C.
Preparing.
Yep.
Warm evening in our nation's capital. Eric Fryer, 6 out of 15 as a Bucko, .377 average combined with the Cardinals and Pirates. And Francisco Cervelli started his rehab yesterday, had a couple of hits and a walk in 7 innings. Talking to Neo Huntington on Sunday about Cervelli, he said they had begun negotiations in terms of how many at-bats he would need. Pirates, of course, would like to get Cervelli a few more, maybe than even he would like. He's ready to go in his mind. Allegheny Health Network injury update. He's just about ready.
Looks ready, doesn't it?
Yeah, he does. Popped up. Right field. And Harper. 2 outs to bring up Francisco Liriano, another guy who is not in the lineup, and question as to whether he'll land on the disabled list, but by the looks of what we saw as he was going through the paces before the game this afternoon with Todd Tomczyk, looked pretty good. And left hamstring tightness. He had Saturday and Sunday off completely, did not play at all in those games, and then the 4 games during the All-Star break, or the 4 days. Here's Todd Tomczyk.
Like Liriano taking all the way. Yeah, you just kind of step back.
Yeah.
That's what he used to do, like all 3 pitches back
yeah.
a couple of years ago.
Never intended on swinging at anything before.
And then he discovered that he was a good hitter. And you don't see that step back very often anymore.
Now, what was that? That doesn't look real comfortable there. Let's hope that's Liriano having a little trouble deciding whether he wants to get back in that box after that last swing. You always worry about the oblique.
I don't always worry, Greg.
No, you're not a worrisome person. That was again a couple pitches back.
Maybe just had a cramp.
I was thinking of saying that, but decided after Robbie's report I wasn't going to. Glad you did. One and 2 on Liriano. And he's caught looking. Second strikeout for Strasburg, and he's retired the Pirates. 1, 2, 3 the last 2 innings. Here at Nationals Park, the Pirates playing this tough Nationals team, leading the National League East. But we check out our T-Mobile greater coverage of baseball, and we see that the strength of schedule, the Pirates have a little bit easier in terms of their opponents the second half. In fact, the softest schedule belongs to the Texas Rangers. The Pirates are next. But as Clint Hurdle pointed out, you still have to beat them.
Yeah, it doesn't really mean a whole heck of a lot. I mean, the Brewers, for instance, does it really matter what their schedule is when we go play those guys, especially up there?
No.
It's always tough. And, you know, when did the Pirates start making their move back toward the top of the division? When they were in the middle of their, arguably their toughest stretch. I mean, that's when they started winning again. So who knows what to expect. You just got to play it. I mean, you see the Brewers on that list. The Cardinals are on that list. Are they on that list because they're playing us? It's just kind of.
That's right.
You got to win who's in. We got to beat who's in front of you. That's all it is. There's Kutch.
A ball and a strike on Danny Espinosa. His average is .239. He has 18 homers. .275 hitter from this right side of the plate. .228 as a lefty.
These next couple of weeks, another fun time in baseball, Greg. We're going to be looking at, I wanted to say pick up the papers, but we don't do that anymore.
Pick up your mini iPad.
And you know, we're checking to see what trades have been made.
Yeah. Couple of strikes on Espinosa. He leads the team.
Who were sellers, who were buyers.
Yep. And the general manager, Mike Rizzo, of these Nationals, would like to improve the bullpen. If you look at this Nats lineup, looks pretty solid when healthy, and the starting pitching as good as it gets. One weakness might be that bullpen, and there's another strikeout for Liriano. He got Ramos looking to end the second. Espinosa, as we just said, has more strikeouts than any other Washington Nationals player. Strikes out for the 84th time this season.
And it certainly is not just the fastball command that he's established. He's throwing just about all of his off-speed stuff for strikes also when he wants to. Throwing change-ups in there, dropping that slider in many times for a strike. There it is for strike one. And he's getting some good calls downstairs. Some of those pitchers are just maybe missing by a smidgen, and he's getting the right hand to go up.
Hard hit at David Freese. He'll make the play unassisted. 8 up, 8 down for Francisco Liriano. Clint Robinson playing first base tonight. Ryan Zimmerman on the disabled list. They have been platooning when Zimmerman has been healthy, and now Steven Strasburg, Liriano's mound opponent. Talk about getting innings from their starters. This is the poster boy for that issue. Liriano has not gone 6 innings or more since a 6-inning stint June the 11th. Tapper, foul. Probably better off that it was, even though Strasburg didn't take off initially. By the time Liriano had gotten to it, Strasburg had a good chance of beating that out. So it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Liriano's last start was against the Chicago Cubs, Dusty Baker's former club. Baker managed the Giants, Cubs, Reds.
I don't see a toothpick. Huh?
He's toothpickless this year, huh?
I don't know.
How about Francisco
Look
Liriano?
at all the strikeouts.
3 of them through 3. Nothing.
for the Toyota RAV4th inning. The all-wheel drive RAV Hybrid has performance that will make you rethink hybrid. Let's go Bucks!
Friday Night Rocks back in business. Baseball returns. Earlier today, the Chicago Cubs blanking the Texas Rangers at Wrigley 6-0. Full slate of baseball. Kyle Hendricks was outstanding in his 6 innings. So the Cubs begin the second half with a W. Pirates looking to do the same. Cardinals are hosting the Marlins tonight. Josh Harrison leads things off. And we don't know the reason. We didn't get a chance to ask Clint Hurdle why John Jaso is not in the starting lineup against a right-hander. And this might be a first this season when it hasn't been Jaso against a lefty. It's been Jordy Mercer. Jay Hay leading off in this one. And strike one.
The first time all year Jay Hay's been in the leadoff spot. Oh wait, no, I take that back. I'm looking at the wrong thing.
5th time, right? Yep. But hasn't been very often. Oh, what a play by Espinosa. What a play Espinosa just made. Espinosa has committed 7 errors. It's a 1-hop shot. Brings up David Freese. Espinosa.
Tough to make that throw when you turn the direction he did. You would think he had already had that right foot planted, but he did like some kind of a reverse spin there, which means now he's throwing with all arm.
Pretty good arm.
Yeah, to get it over there like that and spinning that direction before you made that throw. That is impressive.
Only man to reach against Strasburg has been David Freese. He walked. After the free pass to Freese, Strasburg able to get Andrew McCutchen to bounce into an inning-ending double play. So both teams hitless through 3 plus.
Absolute pitchers do. Both pitchers look like they're doing it fairly easily to this point also. Not having to throw a ton of pitches. Strasburg hasn't thrown his 40th pitch yet. He's got 1 out in the 4th.
You were here that night he made his debut, weren't you?
Yes, I was, Greg. I was here along with about 500 other members of the media.
Yeah. Jam-packed.
Like a World Series game down on the field during batting practice.
Mike Maddox, veteran pitching coach in his first year with the Nats. Line towards center. Michael Taylor will be there. It was June 8, 2010. He gets 7 innings in his major league debut, strikes out 14. Including the last 7 in a row. Talk about making it look easy. It was like a World Series Game 7 atmosphere. Steven Strasburg, who got the curtain call, and then Ryan Zimmerman got him at the end. There's Andrew McCutchen. Fouls that fastball back. Then he went through the Tommy John surgery.
It's almost like that's expected. You have to do that.
September of that year.
Still throwing hard. His average fastball is 95. Which is pretty darn good for a starting pitch. That last one he popped through there at 97.
Of course, then they brought him back very carefully, and controversial decision by the Nationals to shut him down as they were heading to the postseason. Espinosa plants this time and guns and gets McCutchen. Part of the game oftentimes when you see the president's race between innings, and again a guy that couldn't buy a win for years, Teddy Roosevelt.
Now, I don't know if he won here, Greg. Does he actually get across the line, or does he like?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, it's got to be a win.
That's his 12th win. He leads George Washington, who's the next closest. He's won 10 of them.
I don't know what happened. Everybody fell down.
Yeah, that was
Teddy.
Yeah, no pierogies to trip them. I don't know what that was all about. And a base hit. First hit of the game for either club belongs to Trey Turner, the rookie for the Washington Nationals.
Fast guy. I think it's picked off here, Greg.
Oh, that's a good call. I like it.
You know, that's another thing, though, that we haven't seen really that much out of Liriano. He used to have that little balk type move where he'd step kind of over that line, imaginary line. Just going to pull that out right here.
You better, because Turner has a substantial lead.
Get him. Setting him up with the slide move. So now Turner's thinking, okay, he's real quick. I got to really push the envelope here a little bit. Then he'll give him the leg kick and foot come down, throw over to first. Decent lead. Leaning a little towards second. That wasn't a good move. That was his, okay, I'm coming over here, I'm showing you it, making you think that that's my move.
Davey Lopes, the first base coach of the Nats, one of the all-time great base stealers in his day. Falls behind the batter, Michael Taylor, 2-0. There's Davey Lopes.
Part of that great infield in LA for all those years. At second base.
Steve Garvey, Bill Russell, Ron Say, they're part of that longtime Dodger infield. Well, there he had Turner bouncing back to first. Turner starting at second base tonight as Daniel Murphy was scratched with general leg soreness. Not discomfort, general leg soreness. 2-1 on Taylor. 3-1. There's Daniel Murphy. A late scratch. Makes you think he did something in the All-Star game, doesn't it? 3-1. And it's 3-2.
Yeah, since he was scratched, if it wasn't in the lineup at all, you would think they're just trying to give him an extra day off, you know, the All-Star game, that sort of thing. But since he was in it and then got scratched, I don't know what to think. Just glad he's not out there.
Yeah. Hope it's sore for a couple more days.
Just general soreness.
Yep. 3-2 now. Big pitch. And it's first and second with nobody out.
Yeah, he was getting some pitches early in this game. That was one he didn't get. It probably was a strike. It's a breaking ball, and it tries to work itself back down toward the strike zone.
Sure did.
According to W.B. Mason, that ball was a strike.
But not according to Ron Kolpa.
And his opinion vetoes whatever W.B. Mason says, or at least on balls and strikes. He has the power.
Jason Worth 2 on, nobody out in the fourth. Ball one. By the way, we were talking about the president's race a moment ago. Congrats to the Pirates crew, Matt Zidek and company. Just back from the IDEA annual conference. They were winners. IDEA stands for Information Display and Entertainment Association. 1-1. Pirates won for best overall video display in baseball and also best overall video display in all of sports. So Liriano got that second pitch called a strike. And there's a dribbler. He gets, oh my, what a play by Josh Harrison to get just one out. Should have been two. Almost was none and almost sails into center field. Jay saves a run for the moment, an error on Liriano, and they get an out.
And Liriano kind of dropping down a little sidearm there. Ended up being a tag play.
Allegheny Health Network Supermo.
I wonder if are they going to look at this?
They're going to challenge it.
There's a chance his foot might have been on the bag there. I don't know. I would have to. Apparently it wasn't. They're not going to challenge it.
Heck of a play by Josh Harrison.
It looked like if he was sliding straight to the base, he would have got to the bag.
We'll check out another angle or two, see if it tells the story of why Baker did not challenge as Bryce Harper swings and misses. Take another look here. He never touched the base.
That's kind of what I was saying. If he would have slid to the base,
absolutely,
he's going to be safe.
Yeah. So now a chance for Liriano to get out of it. And he's got another shot at it. There's one, and there's two. Francisco Liriano gets Worth to bounce to the mound, and he gets Harper to bounce in the inning-ending twin killing with some help from Jay Hay. Jason Worth hit into what should have been a double play, but thanks to a bad throw by Liriano, it was almost a run and an error on the Pirates pitcher. Josh Harrison able to make the great play, and then the next batter, Bryce Harper, taps back to Liriano. This was much better, wasn't it, Bob?
Yeah, it's like you got a mulligan to try it again. Yeah, you always do it the better the second time. This time you get that ball right down there where it could be handled. Mercer didn't have to go jumping and tagging or anything like that.
Well done by Liriano to get both hitters to bounce back to the mound, and by Josh Harrison to get an out. And now Starling Marte begins the fifth inning. Pirates looking for their first hit. Marte flied to left, leading off the second. One and two on Marte. Matt Joyce on deck, then Jung Ho Kang. Marte named an All-Star. Matt Joyce, a one-time All-Star with Tampa Bay. And Steven Strasburg, as we said earlier, was home in San Diego but didn't participate. He said, "My allegiance is to the Nationals."
So we're talking about wins. He's got 12. He said Cueto has 13. I was thinking, I wonder if Cueto wishes he hadn't participated.
Yeah, I wonder if the National League wishes, because they ended up losing that game. There's Max Scherzer.
And Cueto didn't have a strong game.
Max Scherzer will pitch on Sunday against Chad Kuhl, the finale of this series. Marte at the All-Star break, 30 stolen bases. Most by a bucko at the break since Tony Womack had 31 steals back in 1998.
Tony didn't have Marte's speed, but he could sure steal a base. That great ability to be going full blast after one step.
And a line drive into center field. So Marte, the first hit for the Pirates and a leadoff single here in the 5th. And this will set up again what is an interesting confrontation between Strasburg, who was easy to run on when he first got to the big leagues. But the last couple of years, he's been one of the tougher righties in baseball to steal against. The base hit for Marte.
You know, sometimes guys like Strasburg, they come up, they've never really had to pay much attention to their holding on runners. They've been that good through their amateur career.
Yeah, especially
in the minor leagues. Yeah, guys like Strasburg are just, well, what difference does it make? To strike out the next guy.
So dominant in college days, San Diego State, and a short stint in the minors. So he didn't, yeah, you're right, he didn't have to do much of this. Opponents 0 for 2 this season trying to steal. But as you have often said, Bob, that just means Marte likes the challenge even more.
Yeah, it won't make any difference to Marte. I don't think he ever even really thinks about, okay, this guy's a 1-2 home. Oh, I can't go. No, he doesn't worry about that. If he gets a good jump, he knows he's going to make it 80% of the time. And then the catcher's throw. The catcher's going to have to be perfect in his exchange, glove to the hand, and then his throw is going to have to be right within a couple feet of the bag. You know, up, down, left, right. Going to have to be a short tag for the infielder.
He's thrown out 32% of the runners trying to steal has Ramos. There he goes. He's got another steal. It's number 31. It's the first steal against Strasburg this season.
So I'm going to hang that on Ramos. Now, remember what I said, the throw has to be within a couple feet so it can be an easy tag. If this throw is on the bag, I think you're going to get a tag down on his hand. But because it bounced in,
yeah,
he's safe. And he overslid the bag too. If Espinosa would have caught the ball, he would have been out. But you know, to get a guy like Marte, everything has to be perfect. Quick release home, quick release from the catcher. The throw has to be accurate. That was the missing part there for the Washington Nationals. It's a poor throw, accuracy-wise.
6 steals now for Marte in his last 4 games. 31 for the year. 1-1 count on Joyce. Shortstop Espinosa really holding Marte. 3-1. Headed toward the seats. Oh, did he hold on to that? He did. What a play by Anthony Rendon.
And what a play keeping Marte at second base after he made the catch.
Oh. Fantastic play by the third baseman of the Nationals.
I was thinking as that ball's coming down, if he catches it, Marte's at third, so it's, that'll be fine too. But Rendon quickly with a submarine type toss right there, puts a one hopper right on the bag, and Marte, who's tagging up, throws on the brakes and heads back to second.
Just a fabulous play by Anthony Rendon. That's the first out of the fifth. Said for a long time it's been a matter of keeping him on the field. Look at Marte's reaction.
Oh, right there. Now he sees the opportunity. In his mind, he's going, okay, he catches that. I'm going to be at third. And as soon as he turned and threw the ball, he's got to stop.
So Marte wanted to steal third there, put on the brakes, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike on Jung Ho Kang. And Marte takes off for a third. The shortstop Espinosa throws on to first, 2 outs.
Taking a little bit of a chance there. Espinosa looked at him for a moment, thought about it, decided to just take the sure out. Not too many guys can move up on that ball right there, and even Marte is kind of rolling the dice.
Looking for 2-out action here from Jordy Mercer. And off the glove, perhaps, of Robinson. And the Pirates lead 1-0. It wasn't hit all that hard. Looked as though Robinson had a shot at it. Mercer gets the RBI single. It's 1-0.
A fastball doing about 96 mile an hour. The ball was outside, off the plate, down and away, and Mercer just reached out there and poked it. I think it was off the end of the bat. Didn't really get a lot of this. Just enough of a slice to move it down the line. Just nice job. Not trying to do a whole lot, just poke it out there. Hope it finds some grass. It did.
Jordy Mercer picks up his 32nd run batted in, and now Eric Fryer. Big 2-out hit from Jordy Mercer. His dad on hand, along with a bunch of other on the father's trip. Starling Marte steals second, scores on the single. Two hits in the inning, and the Pirates lead 1-0. One and two on Fryer. Popped up. Second baseman Turner. Makes the catch, but Jordy Mercer's 2-out single scores Starling Marte. Halfway through it, 1-0 Bucks. Rocket on a Friday night.
Let's get it done on Friday night. Pittsburgh on Friday. It's what we do.
Great shots from the Allegheny Health Network Supermo. And Anthony Rendon leads off the bottom of the 5th. And right away grounds it sharply to the right side. There's Josh Harrison. 1 pitch, 1 out in this bottom of the 5th inning. And how things turned from what we saw in the bottom of the 4th, where the Nationals were setting up shop. Runners at first and second, nobody out. Then Jason Worth hit the comebacker to Liriano, who threw wildly towards second. Harrison made a great play. Harper then bounced into the inning-ending double play, and then Starling Marte leads off the top of this inning with the base hit, steals second, goes to third on the ground ball, and Jordy Mercer 2-out single.
Well, Liriano only throwing 50 pitches. This is turning into his best start in a long, long time.
And just past David Freese. A ground single to right for the catcher, Wilson Ramos.
Really got to be encouraged with the strike throwing ability of Liriano tonight. Of the 51 pitches now he's thrown, 35 of them have been for strikes.
And with that, maybe an idea by the Nationals not to wait around anymore. The first 2 batters here in the bottom of the 5th swing at the first pitches. See what Espinosa does.
It's that cat and mouse game between the pitcher and those hitters.
Rick Shue is the hitting coach.
I think the Pirates have always had the best theory about the whole thing. Until you get to 2 strikes, wait until you get a pitch that you want to hit. And if you do that, sometimes you're going to be going deep in counts because the pitcher is going to be being very careful, you know, nipping here, nipping there, and you're going to get ahead. But at the same, at the same time, though, if he's challenging guys coming right at you, okay, well, there's the pitch you want to hit, so go ahead and go after it early in the count. Just make sure it's something you want to hit. Now, if you get to 2 strikes, now you got to change your approach a little bit. And I think that theory really was paying big dividends the first month of the season with the Pirate hitters.
Espinosa swings at the first pitch here in the bottom of the 5th, then takes ball 1. And 2-1. Liriano essentially got 2 double play balls last inning. Now this batter at the plate, Espinosa, the 3rd toughest hitter in the league to double up. But as we said earlier, you can strike him out. And he also has power, 18 homers. 2-2.
Nice changeup and chase on. Espinosa not showing a lot of patience this at bat. So far, he has not seen a pitch in the strike zone, and he's got 2 strikes on him.
Chopped high toward 3rd. Gung's going to have to hurry. Decides to eat it. Infield hit for Espinosa.
Just right off the plate. When you do that, when you drive it straight down hard enough onto that plate, you got yourself a hit if you can run it all. You'll take that big hop.
Now the batter, Clint Robinson. Robinson, no, his season average is .213, actually hitting better against lefties this year. Limited action against southpaws. Two and 0. Last start for Liriano was against the Chicago Cubs. He went 5 innings, got into the 6th, ended up giving up 2 runs, 1 earned on 3 hits. 2-0 on Clint Robinson. Aaron Fryer going out to check on Liriano after this pitch. A bit of a slip.
Well, Robinson swinging at that pitch. On a 2-0 count. Fastball way down out of the strike zone. I think he was guessing strike.
I think so.
Guess hitter.
And he's going to tie the game with a base hit to center. 1-1. Clint Robinson with just his 19th RBI. Singles home Ramos.
Yeah, looking for a ground ball there. Got it, just happened to be in the bad spot. It was a slider. Probably would have liked to get it down a little bit more than he did, but it was on the outside part of the plate. In fact, it was off the plate by maybe a half an inch, but not hit that hard. Just bouncing through the hole. That's kind of where the luck of the game comes into. If that's at one of the middle infielders, the inning's over.
Strasburg trying to bunt. down at Bob Henley, the third base coach. 4 sacrifice bunts on the year for Strasburg.
Trying to hit into a double play.
Wasn't able to do it.
That's too bad. Maybe I'll try again.
Max Scherzer. Looking on, Scherzer will
Dustin,
pitch Sunday.
put on the hit into a double play sign.
Yeah. Well, might have gotten a gift there. Strasburg didn't appear to have pulled that bat back, but Chris Conroy's the first base umpire. He said he did. 1 and 2.
There it is. Where's the ball?
Jeez.
It was close. We need super slow-mo on that one. But that's all right. Now he gets a chance to hit into a double play.
Let's take that bunt off. And now he strikes out. Second time that Liriano has gotten him. 4 on the night.
Definitely a flaw in Strasburg's game, it looks like, the batting part of things. Does not look comfortable at all up there.
Here's the rookie Trey Turner. Turner hit .302 at AAA Syracuse this season. Playing in his 4th game this year. Former first-round pick of the Padres a couple of years ago out of North Carolina State. Ball and a strike on the 23-year-old. Boynton Beach, Florida, near Miami. Came over in a deal that sent Will Myers from Tampa Bay to San Diego. The Nationals got Turner and Joe Ross, the pitcher. Back to Liriano. And that'll do it. But 3 consecutive hits. Ramos, Espinosa, Robinson. And it's 1-1.
Root Sports is brought to you by the Chevy Tracks and your Western PA Chevy dealers. And by Barrel. Visit our brand new Kia showroom in Wexford. More vehicles than ever at the very best prices. Let's go Bucks!
Friday Night Rocks Bucks and Nats tied at 1. Game 1 of this 3-game series. Clint Robinson delivered with the ground single to center. Brought in Wilson Ramos. We're knotted up. Clubs exchange 5th inning runs, and Francisco Liriano struck out looking against Strasburg in the 3rd. There's a pitch count, still manageable for Strasburg. Ten hits on the year for Liriano. Strasburg has struck out a couple, including Liriano looking to end the 3rd. Ball strikes and total number of pitches. Plays off. 3-2. And he gets him. So one away, the strikeout. Cheer on your Buccos Wednesday, and then stay after the game for Faith Night presented by Chick-fil-A. Pirates and Brewers meet at 7:05. Then listen to your favorite Pirate players and coaches speak about how faith has impacted their lives, both on and off the field. Special ticket prices available at pirates.com/Faith Night. And Hurdle has talked about that often, as has Josh Harrison, who was robbed of a hit by Danny Espinosa at short his last time, a hard hit ball. Ball to strike. In the air to left. Should be easy for Worth. 2 up, 2 down to bring up David Freese. Our day automotive this day in Pirates history. We take you back to July 15th, 1962. The National League beats the American League 3-1. First of 2 All-Star games held that year. The Bucks had 3 players in the starting lineup. Roberto Clemente, 3 hits for the senior circuit. And on June 15th, 1971, Pirates beat the Padres 4-3 on a Roberto Clemente home run in the 17th. Steve Blass started that game, gave up 1 run in 18 innings. Also known as 8 innings.
8 innings.
For him. It was an 18-inning game.
18
Steve went 8. And Steve has made the trip because John Wayner is on assignment.
I'm going to have to get on Steve about that. They didn't pitch half the game.
Yeah, how about
you
that?
would think, he's
yeah.
a starting pitcher. You should be able to go half the game.
Steve over on the radio side with Joe Block. Seems like Steve's made a lot of DC trips.
He's leaning quite far to the left in that chair.
Yeah, he is.
I should go over there and straighten him up. Make sure he doesn't fall.
Yeah. I thought just meant just straighten him up because don't lean either way.
These chairs are great. They don't go back.
No, they don't.
They're locked.
When you want to try it?
They're locked, see? They don't go back. They're perfect.
No, yours is locked.
I did lock mine. Mine was going back earlier.
Yeah.
I flipped it upside down and locked it and put it back so no accidents tonight.
Thank goodness. Thank goodness. We're watching.
I'm locked in.
Locked in. Locked in for a 3-game series here. Still 1-2 on David Freese. Steve loves watching a well-pitched ball game, Steve Blass. That game on this date in 1971, the Pirates winning that marathon thriller. The Pirates had tied the game in the bottom of the 9th, tied it again in the 13th and 16th innings before the Clemente home run won it in the 17th. Down on strikes goes Freese, and 1-2-3 go the Bucks. 4 Ks for Strasburg. It's 1-1.
From the All-Star break, and he has a couple cool stories to tell. He was able to take part in the team photo, but the Pirates All-Star hat was too big for his head, so he had to grab a different hat. If you look all the way on the right, the second row from the top, that's Melanti. You see the front of his hat is white. That's actually a Mets All-Star batting practice hat. You see the equipment guy went to grab him a new hat, and as he was doing it, Mark was running late for the team photo, so he had to grab another one. So he ended up grabbing one off a ball boy's head and putting it on. Now this is a picture of his oldest kid, daughter Brooklyn, who's almost 5 years of age. Now get this, you know how they ride the flatbed trucks along the red carpet as they make their way into the ballpark. Well, Mark and his wife Mary Catherine were taking their 2 youngest kids and lowering them from the truck, and Brooklyn took a few steps. When they turned back, there she was signing autographs. She walked up and volunteered to just start passing out her autograph, and Mark obviously had his phone handy, was able to capture that beautiful photo. And how cool is that? You just walk over to see your daughter seeking autograph collectors pen and paper, and started to sign a few. And I asked Mark why she was doing it. He said, hey, I guess she sees me doing it, and she wanted to sign a few autographs for her own. But seriously, how cute is that to find your daughter signing on the red carpet at the All-Star game?
I love that hashtag, Robbie, that he added. Hashtag not shy. You can tweet the booth. Hashtag Bucks Booth. Point Park University tweets. And you saw the All-Star game. Saw Mark Melanson get that final out of that 8th inning. Came on with runners at second and third, 2 outs. And eventually get the last out on a ground ball. Starling Marte looked like he was going to be one of the heroes in a comeback win as he had that pinch hit single. And there's a ground foul. Let's go back downstairs to Robbie about how they're going to fix that photo.
Right, so he's wearing the Mets hat in the team photo. So he and Starling Marte were standing next to one another, and they actually switched hats, and the photographer had the whole team take another photo. So when you see the official photo come out, you're going to see a Pirates hat on Mark's head, but it's going to be photoshopped into it. So Marte ended up putting on the Mets hat for the extra picture that they took. So the magic of photos is going to make it all look normal. But of course, that's like the most Mark Melanson thing to happen, and it just grabs it off a ball boy's head. It says, here, I need a hat to wear for this photo, and it's, oh, by the way, just a picture with all the All-Stars.
Got to improvise, right? Grab a Mets cap. There's a former Met, John Neese, who was You could call him, at least for now, a former starter. Clint Hurdle said today that he was told that he told Nice he was going to go into the bullpen for now. And a strikeout of Michael Taylor to begin the 6th for Liriano. But Nice basically, in so many words, said can't blame the Pirates, didn't pitch well.
No, it sounds like he's going to the bullpen with the right attitude, and pitch better, you get out of the bullpen.
Clint Hurdle said just unplugging him for now, not banishing him. Need his best effort moving forward and see what happens.
With all those days off, you would think that starting rotation will be in a little flux. And there will be times where you can have an extra guy on a bench or an extra guy in that bullpen.
Ball, 1 strike. Right there, stationed back of second, is Josh Harrison. 2 outs. This is becoming a bit of a headliner for Francisco Liriano.
Yeah, it really is.
He gets 1 more out. It'll be the first time he's gone as many as 6 innings in over a month. June 11th, he went 6 in a loss to the Cardinals. Last 25 Pirate games, starters have gone 6 or more innings only 5 times. The last 25 games coming into tonight. Now you get a quick out here and keep it around 80 pitches. Great shape.
Now this is just like almost every game that Liriano has pitched as a Pirate, where he'll lock up with somebody else's best guy, and it'll be a great pitcher's duel. He'll take the game almost all the time into the 6th, 7th inning. Overthrew that one low.
Harper bounced into an inning-ending double play and ended the 4th.
Ray loving it. Well, maybe not that last pitch. Shaking his head out there. He's loving what he sees on the scoreboard, put it that way. What a great shot that is with the MLB logo.
Yeah.
Look at Ray hunkering down with the pitch. See that?
Following it into the mitt.
I don't think he's looking at the baseball, though. It looks like he's staring at Liriano. Watch.
Oh, boy, yeah. Look at him leaning in
there.
Yeah,
he's staring at Liriano. He's not looking at all at the pitch or the plate. Focused in like a leopard or something. Huh?
He walks Harper with 2 outs. Second walk. Follow the Pirates. Pirates Baseball Live with the MLB.com at Bat app. Stay up to the moment at any moment with game day, live game video highlights, StatCast, news, and more. Download MLB.com at Bat, the #1 app for live baseball on your phone and tablet. Two-out walk to Harper. And now it's Anthony Rendon, who's flied to right and bounced to second. And there goes Harper. And he'll make it without a throw. His 14th stolen base. Caught 6 times.
Boy, look at that jump. What you're doing there is you're just running on the very first move the left-hander makes. If the pitcher, any left-handed pitcher, not just Liriano, any left-hander, is coming over on a pickoff, you're done. But if he's going home and you've guessed right, you have an easy steal. as long as he goes into that big leg kick.
This pitch here to Rendon.
Right there. Nice slider. That one had to be close. You know, Greg, I was talking before the game about the command of the fastball. But so far, I have to say, I'm going to have to eat my words on that. It's the command of that slider that's made the difference tonight.
And that was a strike.
Yeah.
Slider. And now it's full.
He's been able to throw the slider for a strike, and he's been able to get ahead with it, throw strike one with it.
On deck is Wilson Ramos, who got it started last inning with his 1-out single, and Clint Hurdle's going to, looks like he's going to call the bullpen. At least that was an intention. He got the door open.
Door open, yeah. Everything in stages, Greg.
And still 3-2.
I guess as a pitcher, you can kind of look over there and go, oh, the door's open.
Yeah. Fryer's saying, hey, listen, the door's open. You walk this guy.
I've said this before in Three Rivers that the phones, the dugouts are so close to the field. They're right there, as you remember. You could plain as day hear the phone ring. And so you would know when that phone rang, you'd hear the bells. Up, the bullpen's ready. I better get this guy out. It's almost like just a warning bell going off.
3 balls, 2 strikes. And he walked him. Now, right away, as soon as ball 4 was called, it's on the bullpen phone to Euclides Rojas. Going to get somebody up right away. And Ray Sears is going to buy that pitcher some time.
Standard operating procedure nowadays. When you call the bullpen, you get the pitching coach goes out, uses up his allotted 30 seconds, and while you're doing this, then you're buying a couple extra tosses by your reliever.
Reliever saw Neftali Feliz start to walk around, and he is up.
Guys that have been relieving for a long time, like Feliz, they really don't need an awful lot either. They can get ready in a matter of minutes. And then if you got a veteran pitching coach who accidentally drops stuff, so he has to go back and pick it up.
Sees a pebble.
Yeah, that takes a little extra time. Just 30 seconds, that's all he was out there for.
Yeah. Well, it's Ramos now with 2 on and 2 outs. And ball 1. Back-to-back walks, 2nd and 3rd of the night. Grounds it to the shortstop, Mercer. He will throw on to first base. A high throw, but Freese goes up to get it for the final out. Still 1-1. And bringing the lumber is brought to you by Yellowwood. Andrew McCutchen bringing the lumber against the Chicago Cubs with home runs in back-to-back games. Saturday, Kutch homered in the third inning off John Lester, and then on Sunday he goes deep against John Lackey leading off the third inning. And he leads off here against Steven Strasburg, having bounced out twice to short. Strasburg has given up 11 home runs on the season, and McCutchen begins the seventh with a base hit into left center. A leadoff single for Andrew McCutchen.
Goes out, gets that slider a little off the end of the bat. That's of the 4 pitches that Strasburg throws, the slider has been the pitch that's easiest to hit. The league's hitting close to 300 off his slider. All the other 3 pitches, nobody hits well at all. So that's what you want to go after if you get your choice.
Starling Marte takes ball 1. Single to start the 5th, stole second, and scored on the 2-out base hit by Mercer.
That's interesting. Last year he didn't throw a slider, so he's added it this year.
How about that?
It's a very short little slider. It doesn't really have a whole lot of break on it. You know, I'm thinking he's using it more, you know, to throw something off speed for a strike, more of a contact, pitch to contact type pitch where he can keep his pitch count under control.
Lefty seated, there's Gio Gonzalez. There's 1 and 2. Strasburg missed a bunch of time last year, 2 stints on the DL, had some neck tightness, and then later landed on the disabled list with an oblique strain. So he pitched only 127 innings, went 11-7. That followed his 2014 campaign where he threw 215 innings and won 14 games. Looking for a gap here. Thinking McCutchen might run. McCutchen with 2 stolen bases in 7 attempts this season. Marte's steal in the 5th was the first against Strasburg on the year.
Decent lead. He's out there by the cut of the grass.
And there he goes. And it's taken for a ball, and Andrew McCutchen has a stolen base as the throw goes into center field.
Picked a good pitch to run on, had the nice lead, ran on I think a curveball, and just extremely poor effort by Ramos. He threw that ball way out into center field.
Third steal of the season, and a big one it could be here for the Pirates and Andrew McCutchen. We mentioned what Marte did in the 5th. He led off with a base hit to center field, like McCutchen here in the 7th. And then he stole second. And he had gone to third on a ground out, and he scores on the Mercer 2-out base hit to right. Big strikeout for the first to complete the K.
I think that was a changeup that got the chase. watch the way this ball breaks. It almost looks, Greg, like besides going down, it's coming back toward Marte, which makes me wonder at what point did that look like a strike. That's an odd. What I'm trying to say is that's an odd pitch to get a chase on, a change up down and away in the dirt from a right-hand pitcher and a right-hand hitter.
Driven to right field, and Harper will make the catch. McCutchen will tag, but not go. Two outs.
Joyce knew he just missed that one.
McCutchen holds his ground, and now it's up to Jung Ho Kang. Broken bat roller to the shortstop Espinosa. And Strasburg shuts the door on the Pirates after McCutchen reached second with nobody out. Still 1-1. And you'll hear plenty of those stories on a special Inside Pirates Baseball. Revel in the anecdotes of the game, and hear the antics of Jim Leland, Danny Murtaugh, and other Bucco skippers. Inside Pirates Baseball, best of Pirates tales, tonight after postgame on Root Sports. Well, Francisco Liriano out there for the bottom of the seventh, the bottom third of the order. Danny Espinosa, Clint Robinson, Steven Strasburg. Ball one. He has gone 7 innings once this season. In fact, he's gone over 6 innings just twice. 6 2/3 against the Reds April 30th. That was his 5th start of the year, and the very next start went 7 against the Cardinals.
Well, Greg, I've been thinking about this for the last couple of days, and really I can make a pretty good argument. I mean, you could for a lot of different guys, but I can make a real good argument why Liriano and what he does his second half is key to what the Pirates do.
Yeah.
I mean, they really need him.
Wow,
to get back to be where he always has.
Sorry about that, Bob. A 4-pitch walk. to begin the bottom of the 7th.
Because you just can't assume that one of these young guys coming up is going to be a number 1 or number 2 type pitcher right away. But we know Liriano has that ability. That he has proven it over the last few years. So that's where you're going to look to really be the guy. So far tonight, I mean, this has been great.
Correction, by the way, twice he's gone 7 innings this season. Cardinals May 6th, Braves May 18th. But he walks Espinosa on 4 pitches, so he has walked 3 of the last 4 batters he's faced. Robinson had the single to center field, the ground single to center in the 5th. That brought in Ramos with a game-tying run. He grounded out to David Freese in his first at bat in the 3rd inning. That'd be just fine right now. Maybe turn 2. And he just started throwing again, Felice, after the 4-pitch walk. Grounded sharply into right field, a base hit. This is going to put runners at 1st and 3rd with nobody out. And Steven Strasburg coming to the plate. Glenn Hurdle is going to go make the pitching change.
Well, Greg, regardless, there you see the ground ball that got through that side. Regardless, I'm still staying with that. This is really a great sign for the second half.
Positive signs this start from Liriano.
Yeah, absolutely. As I said before, it wasn't so much the fastball command, which I still think is important for him, and going forward, you like to see him get a little bit better at putting that fastball where he wants to. But tonight, real good control of the slider. He was able to throw that for a strike, to use that as a get-ahead pitch. Got some chases on it when he moved it out of the strike zone. And even though he didn't get the 7 innings in, running into a little trouble here obviously in the 7th, but still I like what I've seen, and bodes well for the second half.
First half numbers for Neftali Felice.
Part of a very strong back end of the bullpen. Opponent batting average below 200.
Liriano back in the dugout. Some Point Park University tweets Charles, the Liriano versus Strasburg matchup, crazy. They're throwing smoke with the dust. Mike, very strong start for Liriano. Hopefully the bats can get him a win. Pirates faithful Liriano is looking #filthy. Well, he won't get a win, but he's hoping the Pirates can get a W. His 6+ innings of work, 5 hits, 1 run, but responsible for 2 men on. And Strasburg failed to get a bunt down in the 5th with 1 out. Figures to try and get that runner to second, or at least attempt to. And here comes the runner for the plate, and he is going to be safe.
He's safe at first also.
Both men safe. Strasburg at first, and Espinosa scores on the throw to first base.
Phillies looked for a moment like he kind of looked over there, like he was going to, get him going back toward third, but he really didn't. He glanced that way, but watch when he gets the bunt. He looks over there, but I don't think he really saw. Very aggressive move by Espinosa. I mean, he put himself in a position to get picked off third base in order to score. See, he didn't really look, did he?
No.
He looked at home for a moment and then kind of just like acted like he was glancing toward third, but he never really saw where Espinosa was. And Espinosa was, I would say, what, at least a third of the way down the line? So he only had 2/3 left to go.
Sacrifice E3, RBI for Strasburg, who now has the lead, and still nobody out for Trey Turner.
Frey's not on the bag when he takes the throw.
Two on Turner. Singled in the 4th. Happy kids.
Do you remember the kid that we had here we were watching a couple years ago? In that tug of war back and forth game, kind of like tonight? I don't know if you recall that or not. He was a Pirate fan, and with the way the score was swinging back and forth, we'd show him, and he was happy, and then he would get kind of down, then he'd get happy again. Always, every time we come here, we should see the fans. I think about that night.
Strikeout for Phillies. So the Pirates have not had much luck here. They lost 7 in a row. And since the Expos moved to Washington, they are 13-24 in our nation's capital. Concerned Pirates fan there in the middle.
Always a lot of Pirate fans here.
Yeah.
Close to Pittsburgh.
And breaking for third. And scoring now because of the errant throw by Fryer is Robinson to make it a 3-1 ball game. Advancing on the wild pitch and then scoring on the throw. Robinson 2 for 3 RBI, run scored in this ball game.
That throw would have been on the money. I think they might have had a shot at him.
Michael Taylor. Chung Ho Gang did not help matters and not knock the ball down, that's for sure.
Yeah, you got to, if you can't get the out, you got to smother that one. Can't let it go down the line. If it gets by, it's a run.
Deep to right center. And Michael Taylor hits his 7th home run of the year, and the Nationals take a 5-1 lead.
Fell apart quickly tonight.
Two-run homer for Taylor.
You got a pretty much center of the plate fastball, I believe. Yeah, dead center. Could have been more in the middle of the plate.
Now Jason Worth closes the book on Liriano. 6 + 3 runs. Michael Taylor. Just a .228 average coming in, but now 7 homers and only 14 ribbies. Archimedes Caminero starts to crank it up in the Pirates bullpen. It's just the 2nd home run that Feliz has allowed this season. The bunt after Clint Hurdle went to Feliz when Robinson singled off Liriano. The error by Freese. And after Turner struck out, Taylor homers. Liriano is on the hook. Two on Worth, 37 years old now, his 6th season with the Washington Nationals.
Got to be getting to the end of that big contract.
1 year remaining, I believe. There's ball 4. Well, Nissan road ahead. Garrett Cole will come off the disabled list tomorrow night. Oppose Tanner Roark. Sunday afternoon, Chad Kuhl will make his 4th major league start. He'll oppose Max Scherzer. The 10-game winner for the Nationals. Nationals coming into this series with the lowest ERA in the league at 3.29. Garrett Cole to go tomorrow night, and Neftali Feliz will exit.
is presented by the authority of the Pittsburgh Pirates and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Well, it was close up until this 7th inning. The Pirates had a 1-0 lead. The Nats tied it in the bottom of the 5th. And here, the Nationals score 4 times. 2-run homer by Michael Taylor. A couple of errors in the inning. David Freese at first. The catcher, Eric Fryer. 36,982 on hand here in Washington. And now Archimedes Caminero.
Overall numbers not that great, especially the opponent batting average, but he has pitched much better since coming off the disabled list.
Last 14 games, a 1.40 ERA for Caminero. Here's Bryce Harper. For 2 with a walk. Worth has 3 steals and 4 tries on the year. Happy birthday wishes go out to Lawrence Patsy Bernori of Sootersville, PA. 98 years old today. Happy birthday, Patsy. Hoping Pirates can come back. And a fly ball to shallow center. Look out. Oh, Mercer makes the catch as Marte races past.
Oh, Mercer pretty fearless on that one.
Way out there to left center.
Could have easily been run down, but if he doesn't hear anybody, he's got to keep going. Got to just say, oh, I don't hear anybody yelling, so it's got to be my ball. And the outfielder, if they want it, they have to tell him to get out of there.
Of course, if you have a cough, you hit the cough button. But it's got to work. I mean, sometimes it has to work. Mine apparently wasn't working there.
Oh, was that you?
My apologies. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I mean, I had mine. Look at my finger still red from when I was pushing it so hard.
Yeah, maybe you shouldn't push it so hard. Next time it might work.
See, that's how it works. Da 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 da. See how that works?
Yeah, perfect.
I was pushing it.
Yeah, I know. Because you never have trouble with the cough buttons.
No,
never. Steve's really good with that. Drive to right. Joyce is there. So the Pirates trail now by 4 as the Nats put up a 4 spot.
is brought to you by Kenny Ross, Total Confidence Pricing, and by Levin Furniture, the official furniture and mattress supplier to the Pittsburgh Pirates. For the best quality, service, and value, shop Levin's. Let's go Bucks!
Just a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, to look forward to Miller Time later in the game, brought to you by Miller Lite. Michael Taylor, 2-run homer, part of a 4-run bottom of the 7th. Jordy Mercer begins the inning. He singled to right in the 5th, and that brought in the first run of the ball game. Hard hit, but right at Trey Turner. Line drive out to second and 1 away in the 8th. Strasburg wants to get through this 8th. Looking to go 13-0.
He's still under 100 pitches. He's sitting there at 92. He's done a good job tonight of that, protecting that pitch count.
Fryer to left, and a quick couple of outs here in the top of the 8th inning. Josh Bell is going to come to the plate as a pinch hitter. And kick off your weekend with a free shirt Friday. Next Friday, Bucks and Phillies, 7:05. Be one of the first 20,000 fans and get a Pierogi Race t-shirt presented by Mrs. T's Pierogies. For tickets, go to pirates.com/free shirt Friday. It's Gregory Polanco modeling that one.
I like it. That's a sharp looking shirt.
Yeah.
Very colorful.
A great Pierogi Race. Well, Mike Maddox comes out to give Strasburg the scouting report on Josh Bell, who has made 3 pinch hit appearances in his 3 major league games, all 3 against the Chicago
he
Cubs.
got, what, 2 outs on 2 pitches?
Yes.
And he's got a 5-1 lead?
Yes.
And a guy with 3 major league at bats comes to the plate and got called timeout?
Right.
The game has changed. And your record's 12-0?
Like you said, the game has changed.
You start him off with a breaking ball for a strike. What's he got both his hits on? Breaking balls.
First big league at bat.
Off speed pitches.
Last Friday, Jake Arrieta, the base hit. And the grand slam off Adam Warren Saturday night. A walk on Sunday. It was against John Lackey. And here is the Saturday night at bat.
Change up. That ball, you look, everybody turn around there. Look, that ball was over the stands. What a bomb.
Josh Bell. What a moment. So your first 4 big league at bats: Jake Arrieta, Adam Warren, John Lackey, Steven Strasburg. And the Pirates will have to make a move tomorrow to get Garrett Cole onto the active roster.
Be a very interesting next couple of weeks.
Bell's future, immediate future, might be tied to Polanco.
So that's the pitch that kind of separates the guys that want to be and the guys that are. To be able to lay off that one, that good curve ball down and in on a 2-2 pitch from Strasburg.
And drawing a walk.
Wow.
And it's going to be hard to send him down. It is going to be really hard. It's only 4 at bats, Bob, but you can really just tell something about this guy.
The pitch before that.
Yeah.
I mean, who doesn't swing at that? What young guy with just less than a handful of at bats in the major leagues takes that pitch from Strasburg?
Now Josh Harrison.
The only other guy I know would be Frazier. He'd take that pitch.
Yeah, Adam Frazier. Josh Harrison is 0 for 3. And again, we don't know why John Jaso did not start this ball game. He almost exclusively starts and leads off against right-handed pitchers. He is healthy and available to our knowledge. Josh Harrison has grounded out twice and flied to left. One ball and one strike. We showed you the bullpen a moment ago, and Strasburg might be nearing the end if he does not get Harrison here. Missed, not by much, 2-1. He's gone over 110 pitches twice this season. And Mike Maddox is pitching coach. Two and two. Dusty Baker trying to get this Nationals team back to the postseason. He's done it before, taking over a club that has been a disappointment one year, and the Nats were last season at 83 and 79. Strikes Harrison out looking, though he does not agree.
Yeah, Paul looked inside, Rick.
Strasburg gets his 6th strikeout. Josh Harrison not happy, and no mea culpa from the home plate umpire. You see the UPMC scoreboard, and you take a look at the pitch that was called, strike 3.
Inside, but got the call. That would have made a full count. Would have got interesting with another base on balls. They would have probably gone to the bullpen.
And when he got to the dugout, high fives. Strasburg, personal winning streak sitting at 15 games coming into this one. Jared Hughes on. base hit for Wilson Ramos.
High sinker.
He's 2 for 4. Espinosa on base twice. Marlins and the Cardinals are scoreless. Up. Miami just picked up a run in the bottom of the 4th. Miami 6 back along with the Mets in the East behind these Nationals. Strasburg looking to go 13-0. According to the Nationals notes, the first National League starting pitcher to begin a season 12-0 since at least 1913. 4th pitcher in Major League history to go 12-0 or better before the All-Star break. The Orioles' Dave McNally started out 13-0 in 1969. Cincinnati's Brooks Lawrence was 12-0 in 1956, and the Pirates' own Elroy Face, a reliever, was 12-0 at the All-Star break in 1959.
Oh, they're in a row, aren't they? They all stay healthy. They're going to be tough all the way to the end.
Hughes, a little hesitation, gets 1 and still gets the double play.
A little pressure on Mercer there.
So again, 12-0 or better at the All-Star break in the major leagues all time. The first All-Star game played in 1933. And there you see the pitchers that include Strasburg and Elroy Face in 1959. Again, as a reliever. One ball, one strike. Steven Strasburg, unless the Pirates rally, will go 13-0. Of course, Elroy finished that year 18-1 in 1959. Max Scherzer will take the hill on Sunday. Scherzer 10-6, and ERA just over 3. Three and 2. Robinson's had a productive night. Toward left center field, long run for Marte. He's going to get there. Last shot for the Pirates. Head to the ninth. Need a big rally. here in Washington. And our WB Mason pregame show gets underway tomorrow at 6:30 on Root Sports as Garrett Cole scheduled to come off the disabled list against these Washington Nationals. Again, the WB Mason pregame 6:30, Pirates and Nats. Garrett Cole, like Pirates will need him to try and even this series. Here's Sean Kelly taking over for Strasburg, who went the first 8. 1 run on 3 hits.
Sean Kelly's numbers for this season. Everything in pretty darn good shape there. Only 6 walks. Definitely a strike thrower. Has that low whip number. Doesn't give up many hits or walks, so his base runners at a minimal.
David Freese has walked line to center and struck out. Strasburg struck out 6, walked a couple. Sean Kelly signed as a free agent this winter. David Freese not going to concede anything. He begins the inning with a base hit to left.
Well, the Pirates do a great job of not giving away at bats, no matter what the situation. And even though they're 4 runs down, they go up there just like it's a tie game. See if they can move the needle here a little bit in the 9th inning.
Josh Harrison was called out on strikes to end the 8th, a pitch that was well in. Talking to Sean Rodriguez there. McCutchen started the 7th inning with a base hit. It was big by Strasburg because McCutchen stole second. He was there with nobody out. A 1-1 game, but Marte struck out. Joyce flied out, and then Gong hit the broken bat bouncer to short. Pirates could not move McCutchen. Who knows what a difference that would have made in this ball game.
This guy like Strasburg, Greg, the opportunities are not going to come very often. Get a guy at second base, nobody out. Got to get that run home.
Two and two.
Bullpen moving around.
Looks like it. Touching down on strikes. Well, like I said, against a guy like Strasburg, don't get many opportunities. He was awfully good again tonight. Our Volvo player of the game. And the numbers in 105 pitches, 1 run, 3 hits, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts.
Yeah, great combination of control of all of his pitches and stuff. And when you have that, you have an elite pitcher, and that is Strasburg.
So 2 outs away now from becoming the first National League starter to begin a season 13-0. Already the first starter to go 12-0 in the National League since 1913. Had a shot there, Max Scherzer earlier. Scherzer won his first 13 decisions in 2013 with the Tigers his Cy Young year, or his Scherzer, so he knows the feeling for Strasburg, the role he's on. Strasburg will match Johnny Cueto for the league lead in wins if the Nats get 2 more outs. Time called.
Not really a bad idea when you see a pitcher do that, Greg. You try to stop yourself in mid delivery. You know, sometimes you can hurt yourself that way, but you don't want to go ahead and throw home. You might hurt somebody there, so just airmail it into the screen. Throw it over everybody's head. Kind of like a hitter. We've seen some guys over the years that have a check swing, and you know they'll hurt. Well, the other day, Carpenter,
yeah,
tried to stop his swing. Game against the Pirates, ended up pulling his oblique.
Back-to-back Ks after the base hit for Freeze. Pirates down to their final out. It's up to Matt Joyce.
Kelly's fastball really plays a little harder than the numbers. He has thrown a couple of strike threes right by guys in this inning. Fastballs that aren't exactly, you know, down at the knees away or anything like that. They're in the middle part of the strike zone. At least that last one, the Marte, looked like it was right down the middle.
Matt Joyce, last shot for the Pirates. And strike one. Foul. Jonathan Papelbon is up. It becomes a save situation. But that is it. Sean Kelly strikes out the last 3, and the Nats win game 1 of this 3-game series. 5-1 the final.
Well, there is a little bit of a silver lining to this. It looked to me like Liriano took a step forward today, especially with that control. The slider could throw for strikes. It looked like what he wanted to. So looking long term over the course of the next 2.5 months, I think we saw something good tonight, even though we took an L.
Michael Taylor's home run